5 strangers completely surrounded me. Bodies were close. Breath was hot, yet inviting. The hotel suite seemed like heaven on earth. My back arched. I gasped. Fingers gripped silk sheets until knuckles paled. One hand steadied my trembling thigh. Another traced my collarbone. A third tangled in my hair. Across the room, my husband watched. Silent. Still. His eyes never left mine. I should have felt shame. Instead, power surged through every cell. Electric. Intoxicating. "Is this what you needed?" he whispered, voice cracking with emotion. "Yes. God, yes. Have you ever wondered what it feels like when one love isn't enough? When your soul craves more than a single pair of hands can offer?" "Yeah. Me too. But wait, before I tell you how this night unfolded, do me a quick favor. Hit that subscribe button and leave a comment below. Trust me, you're gonna want to see what happens next. Because tonight wasn't just about desire. It was about something much deeper. Share this video with your friends. Back to our story. It all started with a look. That's how these things begin, you know? Not with grand declarations. Not with dramatic confessions. Just a look. Matthew and I had been married for 7 years. 7 beautiful, comfortable years. The kind where you finish each other's sentences. Where you know exactly which side of the bed they prefer. Where you can predict their coffee order without asking. Comfortable. Safe. But something was missing. Have you ever felt that? That strange emptiness that lingers after everything should feel complete. It wasn't his fault. God, no. Matthew gave everything he had. Every single time. But I remained hungry. We never spoke about it. Not really. Just danced around it with careful words and averted eyes. Until that Tuesday night in September. I remember it clearly. The bedroom was bathed in moonlight, sheets tangled around our bodies. Matthew had just, finished. His breathing was heavy against my shoulder, his body warm and familiar against mine. But I was still there, suspended on the edge of something greater. He must have felt it. The way my body still hummed with tension. The way my fingers still clutched the sheets. "Tell me what you need," he whispered. Not accusatory. Just curious. I couldn't answer. How do you tell someone who gives you everything that it's still not enough? "It's okay," he said, tracing patterns on my skin. "Whatever it is, it's okay." And that's when I broke. Years of holding back crashed through me like a wave. "I need more," I whispered. "Not because you're lacking, but because I'm insatiable." The silence stretched between us, thick and heavy. I thought I'd ruined everything. Then he kissed me. Deep. Slow. Like he was saying goodbye to something. "What if," he said carefully, "what if I could give you more? Without losing what we have?" I didn't understand. Not then. That was 3 weeks ago. And now I was sitting in a private dining room at Meridian, the city's most exclusive restaurant, wearing a black dress that clung to every curve. My hair swept up, exposing my neck. Across from us sat 5 men. Alexander, tall, stern, with hands that looked like they could break or build with equal precision. Marcus, quieter, watchful, his eyes never leaving mine from behind wire-rimmed glasses. Daniel, confident, bordering on arrogant, but with a smile that made promises he seemed capable of keeping. Ethan, younger than the others, athletic, with an eagerness that was somehow both endearing and exciting. And Vincent, distinguished, silver at his temples, his voice low and commanding when he spoke. All successful, all discreet, all here because my husband had arranged it. You know what's strange? How normal it felt. We talked about politics, about books, about the ridiculous traffic on the interstate. Just normal conversation. But underneath, the shock. Like storm clouds gathering before lightning strikes. Matthew reached for my hand across the table. "You're sure?" he asked, his voice so quiet only I could hear. Was I really going to do this? I looked at him. This man who loved me enough to give me something most would consider unthinkable. Yes, I said. Then, stronger, yes. He nodded once, then turned to our guests. The suite is ready, he said simply. Have you ever felt the weight of a decision so heavy it makes the air around you thick? That's how it felt walking into that hotel suite. My heels sank into plush carpet. The sound of 6 men following behind me. The door clicked shut. Final. Definitive. Matthew approached first. Always first. His hands framed my face like I was something precious, something sacred. Remember, he whispered, this is for you. All of it. And then he stepped back. Not away. Never away. Just giving space for what would happen next. Alexander moved first. Deliberate. Confident. His fingers traced the zipper of my dress, a question in the touch. I nodded. Just barely. The fabric whispered as it fell. You know that moment when vulnerability becomes power? When does exposing yourself feel like the strongest thing you've ever done? That's what it was. I stood there, nearly bare, illuminated by the soft glow of city lights through floor-to-ceiling windows. 6 pairs of eyes on me. 6 different expressions. But it was Matthew I watched. Matthew, whose eyes never left mine. Matthew, whose love was so vast it could contain this moment without breaking. What followed was a symphony. Alexander's touch was commanding, each movement precise, intentional. He guided me to the edge of the massive bed, his hands steady on my waist. When he kissed me, it wasn't tentative. It was claiming. My body responded instantly, arching toward him like it had been waiting. Maybe it had. He took his time. God, he took his time. Building something inside me that had no name, no shape, just pure, raw sensation. When it crashed over me, I cried out. Not from shame. From release. But it wasn't over. Not even close. Marcus approached next. Different energy. Softer touch. But no less intense. He turned me gently, hands skimming my shoulders, my back. When he leaned close, his breath tickled my ear. Beautiful, he murmured. Just that. Just one word. But it undid me. His pace was slower. More measured. Like he was memorizing every moment, every reaction. I let myself sink into it, into the slow-building pressure that seemed to radiate from everywhere he touched. The second wave hit harder than the first. Left me gasping, clutching at his shoulders. Across the room, Matthew watched. Not with jealousy. With wonder. Daniel was third. More playful. A hint of mischief in his smile as he approached. May I? He asked, ever the gentleman. I nodded, still trembling from before. His style was different still. More rhythm. More flair. Like he was conducting an orchestra using my body as the instrument. I lost myself completely in it. In the rising tension, the careful precision of his movements. In the way he seemed to know exactly how to build and release and build again. When it broke, my legs nearly gave out. He caught me, steady, strong. I've got you, he whispered. And he did. Ethan's enthusiasm was contagious. His hands were slightly calloused, his grip firmer. He lifted me effortlessly, repositioning with careful attention. Is this okay? He asked repeatedly. Always checking. Always making sure. I answered with my body. With the way I moved with him, against him. With the sounds that escaped without permission. He matched my energy perfectly. Built me up again, even when I thought there was nothing left to give. When it happened this time, it was like free fall. Like jumping from a great height and finding you could fly. Vincent approached last. Methodical. Patient. You're extraordinary, he said, his voice a low rumble that I felt more than heard. His experience showed in every touch. In the way he arranged me with gentle authority. in how he seemed to know what I needed before I did. But what I remember most, the way the others didn't leave, the way they stayed close, offering a steadying hand, a gentle touch, a whispered encouragement. They worked in concert, a perfect harmony of sensation. One would guide while another supported. One would build while another sustained. I wasn't divided between them. I was multiplied. The final release wasn't like the others. It wasn't a wave or a crash or a fall. It was an unraveling, a complete surrender of everything I thought I knew about pleasure, about limits, about connection. I shattered. Completely. Utterly. And they held every piece. When I finally came back to myself, they were gone. All except Matthew. He sat in a chair by the window, watching me with eyes that held no judgment. No resentment. Only love. He approached slowly, gathering me into his arms, cradling me against his chest. "Was it enough?" he asked softly. I looked up at him, this incredible man who had given me something so beyond the ordinary boundaries of love. "It was perfect," I whispered. "But you know what I need now?" He waited, patient as always. "Just you," I said. "Always you." And as he held me through the night, I realized something profound. What happened in that room wasn't about sex. It wasn't about physical satisfaction. It was about being seen. Truly seen. For exactly who I was. For exactly what I needed. What he gave me wasn't 5 other men. What he gave me was acceptance. Complete, unconditional acceptance. And isn't that, in the end, what we're all searching for? So I ask you this. What would you do for someone you love? How far would you go to give them what they truly need? Even if it challenged everything you thought you knew about relationships. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. And if this story resonated with you, hit that subscribe button and give us a like. Stay tuned because more stories are coming that'll make you question everything you thought you knew about love. Don't forget to share this video with your friends and loved ones. See you in the next one.